Greetings to all. I'm Dr. Sindhu Gujari from JSS Medical College, and these are my co-authors, Dr. Sheila Kumar, Dr. Anil Kumar, Dr. Priya Mukherjee, Dr. Sai Pranati, Dr. Soumya Neelan, and Dr. Karandeep Singh. I'll be presenting about the evaluation of post-vaccination symptoms in the dental college setup, which was an online survey. So why did I choose this topic? As we all know, since for the past year we have been dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. Until now, our problem was how do we fight the pandemic? Now that we have vaccination available, now all of us are afraid about the post-vaccination effects. So I was curious as to know if there were any real serious side effects caused by vaccination. So the coronavirus is a single-stranded envelope RNA virus, which can cause illnesses ranging from common cold to more severe diseases like MERS and SARS. The present pandemic is classified by WHO as SARS-CoV-2, which is caused by a new type of coronavirus. The common signs of infections include respiratory system symptoms like fever, cough, shortness of breath, and breathing difficulties. In more severe cases, you can have pneumonia or severe acute respiratory distress, kidney failure, and even death. As per the current statistics, around 11 million cases have been reported in India, out of which 160,000 people have died. Karnataka alone has a total number of 963,614 cases, out of which 10,000 cases are active and 940,000 cases have recovered. The pandemic caused by the new coronavirus brought the world to an uncertain halt. The vaccine is the best way to stop it. Vaccines work by producing active immunity. There are different types of vaccines. Inactivated vaccine, live attenuated vaccine, mRNA vaccine, subunit vaccine, etc. So how the vaccines help us is by triggering our T cells and B cells to produce antibodies and cell mediated immunity. And we also have memory cells which store the memory of this organism and help us fight against the virus once we are infected by it. So the new critical new tool in the battle against COVID-19 is vaccination. There are the different types of COVID-19 vaccines available. One of them is the mRNA vaccine. So mRNA is a genetic material from the vaccine, which is injected into the person. And this mRNA produces proteins, which is then released by the cells. Once the protein is released by the cell, it is presented by antigen presenting cells. And these cells are recognized by the T cells and B cells. The recognition of the antigen by T cell and B cell produces antibodies, which will destroy the virus. These T cells and B cells also produce memory cells, which store the memory of the virus and help fight it once you are infected by it. That type of vaccine is the protein subunit vaccine. The protein subunit vaccine contains a part of the virus which only stimulates the immune system. The other type of vaccine is a vector vaccine, which is a modified version of a virus, of a different virus than the one that actually causes COVID-19. Inside the shell of a modified virus, there is material from the virus that causes COVID-19 called the viral vector. So the COVID-19 vaccine helps our bodies develop immunity to the virus that cause COVID-19 without us having to get the illness. There are different types of vaccines work in different ways, but the basic concept is that they work by producing memory cells. It typically takes a few weeks after vaccination for the body to produce T and B lymphocytes. Therefore, it is possible that a person could be infected with a virus that causes COVID-19 just before or just after vaccination, and then get sick because the vaccine did not have enough time to provide protection. Sometimes, after vaccination, the process of building immunity can cause symptoms such as fever. These symptoms are normal and are signs that the body is building immunity. The effectiveness of various COVID-19 vaccines are Oxford Uni AstraZeneca is about 60 to 90% effective. Moderna is about 95% effective. Pfizer is about 95% effective. Sputnik is about 92% effective. Currently, 11 vaccines have been approved. India is one of the leading countries that is producing vaccines and is exporting it to about 71 countries. Already 58 million doses have been shipped. The two types of vaccines available in India are Covaxin and Covishield. Covaxin is produced by Bharat Biotech in collaboration with ICMR. It has an efficacy rate of about 81%, and it is an inactivated vaccine, which means it contains a part of the vaccine which is a part of the virus which is killed. The Covishield vaccine is produced by Oxford AstraZeneca, which is manufactured by the Serum Institute of India. The international clinical trials show an effectiveness of about 90%. Vaccine is made from a weakened version of a common cold virus known as the adenovirus, which is from chimpanzees. So based on the potential availability of the vaccines, our government has selected priority groups for vaccination. The first group includes the healthcare workers and frontline workers. And the second group includes people over 60 years of age and persons between 45 and 59 years of age with comorbid conditions. Although the vaccine is the only way to stop the spread of the virus, the receivers show variety of behavioral predomination. While some of the population is enthusiastic with the vaccination, the other half are skeptical. Hence, the study would give us an insight to the problems faced and help us attain feasible solutions for the general public undergoing vaccination. The COVID vaccine was administered to all the healthcare workers and students of the JSS Dental College. The first dose of vaccination was given in the month of January, following which second dose was given after 28 days. A questionnaire was developed and sent by email to be filled by those who were vaccinated to record and assess their experiences post-COVID vaccination. A total of 141 responses were acquired. The responses were subjected to statistical analysis to evaluate the experiences and challenges faced by them. SPSS 22 was used for statistical analysis. The frequency, mean, and mode was calculated. And this was a questionnaire developed. So the response was graded as no, mild, and severe. The different questions included if they were tested for COVID-19 before vaccination, if they experienced any side effects post-vaccination, if the vaccination was painful, if they noticed any change of color or itchiness, if there was any tenderness at the site of vaccination, any swelling at the site of vaccination, any hypersensitivity reaction, if they applied fermentation at the site of vaccination, if they experienced any rise in temperature, if they experienced any chills, and post-vaccination, if they experienced any dizziness, if there was any burning sensation in the eyes, any sore throat, any shortness of breath or uneasiness in the chest, if they had any myalgia, if myalgia was present, for how many days was it present, and post-vaccination, if they had any headache, if they had any shoulder pain, running nose, cough, dryness of mouth, loss of smell, taste, or loss of sensitivity to salt post-vaccination. If they had any nausea or vomiting, if they had any upset stomach and abdominal pain, if they were taking any medication, and if they had any discomfort and for how many days they had discomfort. On observing the responses of the questionnaire study, the post-vaccination comfort and discomfort was evaluated. 90% patients responded that they were not tested positive for COVID-19 before vaccination, meaning that they were not immune to COVID. COVID-19 vaccines are not currently recommended for outbreak management or for post-exposure prophylaxis because the median incubation period of COVID-19 is 4 to 5 days. It is unlikely that a dose of COVID-19 would provide an adequate immune response within the incubation period for effective post-exposure prophylaxis. Out of the total number of participants, females were about 80% and males were about 20%. So mostly our age group included 18 to 30-year-old. 31 to 45-year-old were about 14%, and 46 to 60 years old were about 8.5%. In general, females are said to have stronger innate immune response in comparison to male. It could be because of any hormonal or psychological factors. 66% experienced mild side effects post-vaccination, whereas 28.4% observed no side effects post-vaccination. A minimum of 1.4% observed severe side effects post-vaccination. So inflammation is a visible response to immune reaction. The 5 cardinal signs of inflammation include rubor, tumor, calor, pain, and loss of function. So each person had varying intensities of these signs of inflammation. On asking them regarding the change of color and itchiness observed at the site of injection, only 13.5% experienced a mild redness, whereas 0.7% had severe redness. Similarly, 10.6% experienced mild itchiness and 0.7% had severity in itchiness. Pain that is experienced after vaccination was considered basically due to the soreness of the muscle because of the injection. 55% of patients had mild tenderness at the site of vaccination, and 12.8% had severe tenderness. To reduce the discomfort and pain at the site of vaccination, a clean, cool, wet wash towel was applied at the area or exercise of the arm was done. In the study, a maximum patients, that is 78%, did not experience any swelling at the site of vaccination, whereas 1.4% had a mild swelling at the site, and out of which 0.7% applied hot fermentation at the site, whereas 2.8% applied cold fermentation. Almost half of the patients, that is 44.7%, experienced a rise in body temperature to about 100 to 101 degree Fahrenheit. And 5% had a rise of temperature up to 102 to 103 degree Fahrenheit. And 2.1% said they had rise in temperature above 103 degrees Fahrenheit. 54% experienced chills, and 7.1% had severe chills after the vaccination. 48.2% did not have any rise in temperature. Post-vaccination, generally, there are symptoms and signs that occur, which based on the frequency of occurrence are distinguished as very common, common, and uncommon. Generally, the local signs and symptoms of inflammation are very common, with either rise in body temperature locally or systematically based on the immune response of the person. About 54% did not experience any chills, 38% experienced mild chills, and 7% experienced severe chills. Post-vaccination, there is potential of dizziness as per literature, but according to our study, 31% experienced mild dizziness. Other side effects which were asked were burning sensation in the eyes, sore throat, and shortness of breath. 12.8% had mild and 2.8% had severe burning sensation of the eyes. 17.7% had mild and 1.4% had sore throat. 6.4% experienced mild and 2.1% had severe shortness of breath or uneasiness in the chest. A maximum of 47.5% had mild myalgia and that prolonged for a day in 52.5%. 2 days and 47.5%, and only 11.3% had more than 2 days of myalgia. Patients had suffered mildly through the following symptoms: headache about 34%, shoulder pain about 50%, running nose about 11.4%, cough about 9.3%, dryness of mouth about 15%, loss of smell about 11.4%, and taste sensation about 10.3%, nausea about 16.3%, abdominal pain about 7.8%. Almost 49.6% of patients had taken medications to reduce the symptoms, in which patients reported the discomfort prolonged for 1 to 2 days in 65.2% of the individuals. When asked if the receivers were taking any medications or if they had any comorbidities or allergies, about 80% answered in the negative, and the rest of the people were divided amongst diseases like hypertension, diabetes, or dust allergies. If there was any difference between the first dose of vaccine and the second dose of vaccine, more than 50% of the respondents said that the effects experienced from the first shot were more severe than that of the second shot. When asked about any oral manifestations observed, majority of the respondents, that is 85.3%, had no manifestations, while the rest of them had dryness of mouth or ulcers. When asked if the respondents would recommend the vaccine, 81% replied in the affirmative, while 16.4% do not recommend it. So I'd like to conclude by saying that our survey was answered by a variety of age groups, but predominantly those ranging from 18 to 30 years of age. A wide variety of questions were asked, including all signs and symptoms of vaccination. The study elicits all the effects observed post-vaccination, out of which most of the respondents had mild discomfort after vaccination. Most of the respondents had no oral manifestations, apart from a few having dry mouth and ulcers. The difference between the first dose and second dose was considerable, with severity of effects more after the first dose and none after the second dose. Henceforth, we can conclude that in absence of any comorbidity and presence of good immunity, the effects post-vaccination are mild, which can be subsided by taking appropriate symptomatic medication. So I definitely recommend taking the vaccination. Please take the vaccination and be safe against coronavirus. I would like to thank JSS University for giving me the opportunity to conduct the study. I also thank my co-authors for helping me with this presentation. Here are my references. Thank you.